Thanks, everybody. You ready? All set? Well, good morning. Thanks for being here. I want to thank Senator James Maroney, who is one of our leaders on all things data privacy and artificial intelligence and technology. This just put it all in the bucket. And co-chair of the General Law Committee. I want to thank Representative Roland Lamar, too, for his extraordinary work on these issues. And Michelle Lucan, who's our section chief, our privacy section. Thank you so much for your work. We're here this morning to give an update on our data privacy work here in Connecticut. Let me just say, first of all, I get that there's a lot going on in the world, but we still have to focus on what's really important here in Connecticut, which is protecting Connecticut residents, Connecticut families. And there are many important things, but among them, one of the most important things is keeping all of us safe online and protecting our personal information, especially sensitive information and our personal data. Let me just give you a little context about why this is important. So all of us, every one of us, I was just doing it before I came down here this morning, all of us buy things, transact business, do everything online these days. So I was on my Home Depot app because I have to get an order in time for this weekend because I have a lot of gardening to do. You know, if you have a kid in school and you have to register for a class, if you have to get your Stanford beach permit for the summer, pay taxes, pay insurance, you do all of it on this thing. And usually through an app. And every day, all day, we're sending tons of information out across the world. And billions and billions of people are doing it real time. And a ton of information is exchanged and flows through the ether. The challenge is that I would say as a country, we didn't think about all this before it happened and before the gold rush in tech and artificial intelligence and the way that we approached data, personal information in this country was very different than the way that the Europeans approached it. The Europeans approached it as data is personal information that belongs to you and that you own. And so they treated it as personal property, whereas in this country, we treated it as a commodity. Because big companies could make a lot of money doing it, and this fueled their growth, and we're all part of it. I'm not saying that we weren't, in many ways, willing accomplices, but we didn't think about it, and we didn't plan for this avalanche of data and information. Our information was treated as a commodity to be bought and sold, and that's what helped develop what I think we all understand now is called the surveillance economy in this country. That means that this thing knows, and all the people that listen, that I am a fly fisherman. And so I get tons of solicitations around fishing and videos of people with huge fish that they catch, even AI videos of fish that don't actually exist. And so the surveillance economy means that there's tons of information that's bought and sold, and we've got to do something about it to protect ourselves because of the risk of huge data breaches, which we deal with all the time in this office, and we lead on all the time in this office. I'll explain that. And because that information, after it's been leaked or when there's been a breach, ends up in the hands of bad actors and on the dark web, and it's used to harm us, to steal from us, to scam us, take advantage of us. There has been, like many things, an absence of meaningful federal action on this issue. It means Congress hasn't really acted in a comprehensive way on data privacy. So because of that, the states have had to act. And people like Senator Maroney have had to step forward and help us pass comprehensive data privacy legislation here in Connecticut, and we did that. The Connecticut Data Privacy Act took effect in July of 2023. We were among the first handful of states. I think we were fifth. We were fifth to pass a comprehensive Data Privacy Act. It puts control back in the hands of consumers and residents and families. What does it do? It covers a wider amount of information, not just Social Security numbers and financial information, but biometric information, healthcare information, other important sensitive information that you think should be covered. It contains a number of opt-in, opt-out provisions so that now if a website, an online retailer wants to collect information, they have to ask, and you have the right to say no. You also have the right, if they've collected this information, to have that information destroyed, deleted, or to take that information with you among a host of other rights. So it puts power back in our hands. It gives us rights. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a bit like putting the genie back in the bottle, in that a lot of that information is already out there. But Connecticut is the 5th state in the country. There's now 12, 15 total. Many are following our lead to try to put power back in the hands of consumers. We are also, I said we're in the lead on a lot of the major data breaches. It's because Michelle and her team lead what was the very first section, department in any Attorney General's office anywhere in this country to focus on data privacy. That was George Jepson's work and his legacy. One of his legacies to us was to build this data privacy practice. And so on Equifax, on Home Depot, on Uber, Michelle is often in the lead. And so we are grateful for her work and the state's commitment to our work. Let me just say before I turn it over to Senator Maroney, our report is a comprehensive report. It follows up on our initial report, which was required by law, but we're reporting again anyway, because we think it's important for people to know that we are engaged in a number of critical investigations and inquiries into companies that may have been involved in a breach. They have an obligation, once there's a breach, to let us know right away, but also investigations to understand what they're doing in the collection, sale, and sharing of consumer data, the safeguarding of data, and whether they're compliant with the law and giving consumers the rights that the law demands. This includes manufacturers of connected vehicles. Many of us are in connected vehicles now, although it hurts me to see like a Honda Civic that I would recognize have classic plates on it now. It shows us right? A genetic and family history company. We've heard a lot about my work in that area, if you're paying attention. Palm Recognition Services, a company that provides services in that space. An anonymous peer messaging app aimed at teens. I don't have to tell you how concerned we are about that, especially around children. And Connecticut retailers' use of facial recognition technology, also critical. That includes a heavy dose of privacy and data collection. And so we're very
Thank you, Attorney General.
I use paper, he uses electronic.
Thank you, Attorney General Tom. As you mentioned, I'm the co-chair of the General Law Committee, and it's a great honor to co-chair that with Representative Roland Lamar. And the General Law Committee is focused on all consumer protection issues. There's really no greater champion of consumer protection than Attorney General Tom, who is constantly out there fighting on issues. We hope to work with him. We look forward to continuing to work with him on the price gouging legislation and other critical legislation. It is nice because I always see him out there fighting to know that he does stop to do some yard work on the weekends and to also go fly fishing every once in a while if he can get up early and notify guests. Again, it's a great honor to be here with Attorney General Tom, but also with Assistant Attorney General Michelle Lipkin, who, as was mentioned, Connecticut has the first data privacy unit of any Attorney General's office in the country. It is highly respected among their peers throughout the country. Next week, we will both be going down to the International Association of Privacy Professional Conferences and Last year when I went, I could see what a rock star she was. If I haven't heard from other AGs, I do work with some other representatives around the country, and we talk. We were able to connect us with their AG's offices and help to learn from people and bring that to Connecticut. I think it's important when we talk about data privacy to start with Attorney General Tom had mentioned that we are we are the only developed nation that doesn't have a comprehensive federal data privacy law. And why is that important? We mentioned the surveillance, the photos, our cars, everything that is collecting data about us. So we talk about the importance of protecting children. We don't know long-term the ramifications of what collecting all of this data on children will lead to. How it can be used in algorithms that are intended to make you buy things or manipulate your behaviors in other ways. And so it's important that we protect people's privacy. One of the things that when we first worked on the bill together that Michelle Lucan had said was that it shouldn't be hard for people to exercise their rights. And even though it's not an explicit right, it's an implicit right to privacy through the Connecticut Constitution, the federal Constitution. And so one of the things as a state that we were able to do was to be one of the first states. We were the 5th state to pass it, but I think we were only the 2nd to require the global privacy control, which again allows you to go to one website, a place like OptMeOut, or to use a website like DuckDuckGo, where you have universal privacy. And that was very important. Attorney General Tom mentioned the data breaches. Last year there were 1,900 data breaches in Connecticut. And just think of all of the information we have online, and what that can mean to individual people, the cost to some people to recover their life and to repair the damage that is done by that. And now with AI, it's going to become more and more frequent as you can automate those attacks on websites. When I started my business 20 years ago, when I started my website, my friend who helped me make it said, "You have security by obscurity. No one knows who you are, so no one's going to hack your website." But now there's no such thing, right? It can be automated, and really anyone is about at risk. Another thing that was highlighted in the report is the fact that of the complaints that they received, I think 20% fell under the public, publicly available information exemption, and so almost a third, I think, fell under an exemption. And so we've tried to create rights for people, but unfortunately, we're realizing that we need to strengthen the bill. And that's why I look forward to this year working together with Attorney General Tom, with Representative Lamar, with the whole data privacy unit on Senate Bill 1356 to strengthen those protections for Connecticut residents, to lower the threshold, because we know it's not just big businesses that are being attacked, it's smaller businesses as well. So we want to lower the data threshold to 35,000. To close some of the loopholes. We found in other states, Texas, I believe, that car dealers were claiming an exemption that wasn't intended for them. We feared that could lead to an exemption for automobiles and all of the data that they're collecting about you. So we want to make sure we're closing that loophole and tightening that, as well as providing more protections for children. So thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to continuing to work with both of you.
Any questions? All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.